Hello, my dear student. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Classes. Today, we are discussing the important questions from the Life Processes chapter. I know already you have studied this chapter. So, we are not completely discussing this chapter. We are discussing the important questions from this chapter. Okay. Yes, let us start with the first question. So, first, we are discussing the multiple choice question. After that, we are discussing the 1 mark questions. Like that, we are discussing the all type of the questions from this chapter. Okay. Yes. First question.
Vikram.
First question. The site of complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats is option A, stomach, option B, large intestine, option C, small intestine, option D, liver. The site of complete digestion. See the definition, complete digestion. Here, the site of complete digestion, so of carbohydrate, protein and fats. These carbohydrates, so proteins and fats, complete digestion will not take place in the mouth, not in the stomach. It takes place at the small intestine. The correct option is option C, small intestine. Okay. Yes, complete digestion and absorption takes place at the small intestine. Next question. In plants, the major function of xylem is the transportation of water, food, amino acids, oxygen. What is the function of the xylem in the transportation? Yes, xylem, that means for the water transportation. And food, how it is transported in plants? It is transported by the specialized tissue that is called as phloem. Phloem, so that means for the transportation of the food. Xylem means for the transportation of the water. So here the question that is on the xylem, so correct option is water. Option A, water. Next question. In amoeba, food is digested in the option A, food vacuole, option B, mitochondria, option C, pseudopodia, option D, chloroplast. You know the diagram of the amoeba. Yes, just imagine this is amoeba and this is the nucleus. Okay, so here the food is digested in the food vacuole, mitochondria, pseudopodia and chloroplast. So pseudopodia, this is the finger-like projections. So they are called, which is used for the locomotion in the amoeba. So pseudopodia is the wrong answer, and chloroplast and mitochondria, which is not present in the amoeba. So the correct answer is food vacuole. Food vacuole is the correct answer. Okay, option A, food vacuole is the correct answer. Next question. Here, in which of the following groups of organisms are food materials broken down outside the body and absorbed? So in some organisms, for example, here in these groups, the food will break down outside the body. Commonly, you know that in human beings, we take the food inside our body. After that, it will break down and the digestion takes, after that absorption takes place in our body. So that takes place inside our body. But here in this group of organisms, they break down the food outside. After that, they absorb. So which of the following group is having the correct organisms? Mushroom, green plants, amoeba. Green plants, they will not break down the food outside the body, and amoeba also, it will not break down the food outside the body. You know the digestion, how the nutrition takes place in amoeba. So option A, it is the wrong answer. Here, yeast, mushroom and bread mold. So these three, they belongs to the group fungi. So these three belongs to the group of fungi. In fungi, the breakdown of the food material takes place outside the body, and after that they will absorb that nutrient. So option B, so that is the correct answer. And see the option C, Paramecium amoeba cuscuta. Cuscuta, it is the parasitic plant, right? And amoeba, the food digestion takes place inside the body, and in paramecium also the food digestion takes place inside the body, not outside the body. And cuscuta lice tapeworm, these group, they are they are nothing but they are parasites. They absorb the nutrients from the, they get the nutrition from the other organisms. So here the correct option, that is option B, yeast, mushroom, bread mold. You can say the fungi, the organisms belongs to the fungi group. They break down the food materials outside the body, and after that they will absorb it. Okay. Next question. What are the products obtained by the anaerobic respiration in plants? Anaerobic respiration in plants. So here the anaerobic respiration that will not take place in plants, anaerobic respiration in yeast. Okay, just change it. Anaerobic respiration in yeast. What are the products obtained by anaerobic respiration in yeast? Option A, lactic acid and energy. Option B, carbon dioxide, water and energy. Option C, ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Option D, pyruvate. Yes, which one is the correct answer here? In yeast, anaerobic respiration that takes place in yeast, so that produce the alcohol. So that contain in the option C, that present in the option C. Ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. So option C is the correct answer. Ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Next question. The respiratory pigment in human being is carotene, chlorophyll, hemoglobin, mitochondria. Yes, which one is the correct answer? Here pigment. Carotene, it is not which is not present in a human being, which is not a respiratory pigment. Chlorophyll, it is present in the plants, which is helpful for the uh, photosynthesis process. Here mitochondria, which is not a pigment, it is a cell organelle. So the correct answer is option C, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is called as a respiratory pigment in human beings. Next question. A plant get rid of excess of water through transpiration. What is the method used by plants to get rid of solid waste products? You know that transpiration is the process where the excess of water is removed by the plants through the stomata. But how the solid waste products are removed by the plants? In human beings, there is a separate system that is called as excretory system. Right. So here, shortening of stem, dropping down fruits, shedding of yellow leaves, expansion of roots into the soil. Yes, which one is the correct answer? Shortening of the stem, which will not remove the waste products, dropping down fruits, which will also not remove the waste products, then shedding of yellow leaves, expansion of roots into the soil. Yes, shedding of yellow leaves means some waste products, they are stored in the yellow leaves and they are removed by shedding of these leaves. So the correct answer is option C, shedding of yellow leaves. Next question. Digestion of food starts from which organ of the human digestive system? Digestion of the food. So when we intake the food materials break down into small particles with the help of teeth. Then there is an enzyme. So there is a gland, salivary gland, which releases the salivary which contain some enzymes that contain the salivary amylase enzyme, and this enzyme that act on the carbohydrate. So that is so from there the digestion of the food starts. Yes, here option A, mouth due to the presence of saliva, esophagus that moves the food in the gut, pancreas that releases the juice for the breakdown of the food material, stomach that helps in the mixing of food with the digestive juice. Here, the digestion of the food begins with the mouth due to the presence of the saliva, which digests the carbohydrates into which convert the carbohydrates into sugars. So option A. Next question. Which of the following is the correct sequence of body parts in the human alimentary canal? So, in the human alimentary canal, it includes the mouth. It includes the mouth. So, then mouth, esophagus, then stomach, stomach to the small intestine. Here, inside this small intestine. Then here, large intestine. So, large intestine and the anus. Here, correct sequence. Option A, mouth, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, esophagus, mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, mouth, stomach, esophagus, small intestine, large intestine. Option D, mouth, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine. So, mouth, so first option is correct one. Mouth, then esophagus. So not stomach, esophagus. Yes, esophagus is present in the option B and D. So option A and C we can eliminate. Then esophagus next, stomach, mouth, esophagus, stomach. Yes, option D. In option D we can see the stomach, but directly here, yes, stomach is also there in the option B. Then option D, stomach to the large intestine. Here, directly stomach to the small intestine, the food will enter after that large intestine. So, the correct option is option B, mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, after that large intestine. This is the correct sequence of the alimentary canal. Next question. Which of the following options shows the transport of oxygen to the cell correctly? Here, the cells, they receives the oxygenated blood, right? So, how it occurs? Lungs, pulmonary vein, left atrium, left ventricle, aorta, body cells, lungs, pulmonary veins, right atrium, right ventricle, aorta, body cells, lungs, pulmonary artery, left atrium, left ventricle, and the vena cava, body cells, lungs, pulmonary artery, right atrium, right ventricle, vena cava, and body cells. Here, what we can say here, vena cava that collect the deoxygenated blood from all the parts of the body. So, vena cava that will not included in the transportation of the oxygenated blood to the body cells. So we can eliminate the option C and D because the vena cava which is present here, right? So you know that The oxygenated blood. So just imagine. So these are the four parts of the heart. This is the left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. Here, the oxygenated blood that is received by the left atrium, right? So, from the pulmonary veins, lungs, yes, lungs, where the purification of the blood takes place. Then the pulmonary veins, they carry the, if you have the diagram of the heart, so just open it, you can get it easily. Left atrium, then it moves in the left ventricle, then into the aorta, then body cells. Here, right atrium and right ventricle, it receives the deoxygenated blood from the vena cava, upper and lower vena cava. So, option B is the wrong answer. Correct one is the lungs, pulmonary veins, left atrium, left ventricle, aorta, and body cells. So this is the way of the transport of the oxygenated blood. They may ask the pathway of the deoxygenated blood, how it transports in our body. So that also they may ask. Next question. In which mode of nutrition an organism derives its food from the body of another living organism without killing it? The organisms, they obtain the food from the another organisms without killing them. Okay. So what type of the nutrition it is? Saprotrophic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, holozoic nutrition, autotrophic nutrition. You know the meaning of the autotrophic nutrition, where the food is prepared by their own. Holozoic nutrition, so they will grab the food which is present outside their food, outside their body. Okay. By killing, or they will get the food from outside their body. Here, saprophytic nutrition, that is by the dead and decaying organisms that present in the fungi. Fungi, they obtain the nutrition by this type of nutrition, that is saprotrophic nutrition. The correct one is the parasitic nutrition. So in this type of nutrition, they get their nutrition from the other organism, but they will not kill. So in case of the heterotrophic nutrition, what happens? For example, lion kills the deer to get its nutrition, to get the food. But in case of this type of the nutrition, they get the nutrition but without killing that host organism. So that is the parasitic nutrition. Next question. Roots of the plants absorb the water from the soil through the process of diffusion, transpiration, osmosis. None of this. Here, the roots of the plants absorb the water from the soil through the process of diffusion, transpiration, osmosis. None of this. Here, the water moves from higher concentration to its lower concentration of ions. So, in case of water, what it is called? It is called as a osmosis. Next question. Which of the following events in the mouth cavity will be affected if salivary amylase is lacking in the saliva? If salivary amylase enzyme is not present inside saliva, then what happens? Starch breaking down into sugars, proteins breaking down into amino acids, absorption of vitamins, fats breaking down into fatty acids and glycerol. Which process is affected here? Fats breakdown. So fat digestion that takes place in the small intestine, not in the mouth. Absorption of vitamins also not takes place in the mouth. And proteins breakdown that also takes place in the stomach and the small intestine. So Here, a breakdown into amino acid takes place in the small intestine. So the correct option, that is A, starch breaking down into sugars, that is affected if the salivary amylase enzyme is not present. Okay. Option A is the correct answer. Next question. The breakdown of pyruvate to give carbon dioxide, water and energy takes place in cytoplasm, mitochondria, chloroplast, nucleus. You know that during the respiration, glucose glucose convert into pyruvate glucose convert into pyruvate in cytoplasm, and pyruvate that convert that break down into in the presence of oxygen, so that convert it into carbon dioxide, water and energy is released. So that takes place inside the cell organelle, that is a mitochondria. Inside the mitochondria there is a breakdown of the pyruvate molecule takes place. So option B is the correct answer. Next question. Name the pores in the leaf through which the respiratory exchange of gases takes place. So option A, lenticels. Option B, vacuoles. Option C, xylem. Option D, stomata. Where the exchange of gases takes place? Is it through the lenticels? Is it through the vacuoles? Xylem? No. So the exchange of the gases takes place through the stomata. Option D is the correct answer. That is stomata. Stomata is the correct answer. Option D. Okay. Yes. So till now we have discussed the some multiple choice question. Let us discuss some 1 mark question from this chapter. Okay. Yes. The first question is, eating chapati by chewing it is very slowly tastes sweeter. Why? So if we eat the chapati by chewing very slowly, it tastes sweeter. What is the reason behind this? Because in our mouth, the enzyme salivary amylase salivary amylase salivary amylase break down the carbohydrate which is present in the chapati. Salivary amylase enzyme convert the carbohydrate which is present in the chapati sugar into sugar. You know that sugar tastes sweetly, right? So the chapati tastes sweetly when we eat it by chewing slowly. Okay, so that is the reason. Next question. The rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster than seen in the terrestrial organisms. Why? Aquatic organisms means which are living in water. So why the rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster when it compared to the terrestrial organisms? Yes. Aquatic organisms breathe faster than the terrestrial organisms because there is less oxygen dissolved in water than in air. The oxygen is less compared, dissolved oxygen is less compared to the oxygen present in the air. So for this reason, aquatic organisms breathe faster than the terrestrial organisms. So like this, you should write the answer. So this is the 1 mark question. Okay. Next question. State the location and function of the gastric glands. Gastric glands, they are present in the stomach. They are present in the walls of the stomach and they secrete the HCl. What is the function? The secretion of HCl, then mucus, then pepsin. So that is the function of the gastric glands. Yes, gastric glands, they are present in the walls of the stomach. They secrete the gastric juices containing mucus, protein digesting enzymes, pepsin, and hydrochloric acid. So this is also one mark question. Note down the answer. What is the function of the, state the function and location of the gastric glands. It can be asked as a 2-mark question also. Okay. So let us move to the next slide. Write the balanced chemical equation for the photosynthesis. Very important question. Write the balanced chemical equation of the photosynthesis. You know that for photosynthesis process, carbon dioxide and water is required. Then in the presence of sunlight, and chlorophyll, it produces glucose, that is C6H12O6 plus oxygen plus water. So, but it is not a balanced chemical equation. So you should write balanced chemical equation. So you have to balance here. C6 carbon 6 atoms are the 6 CO2. Here hydrogen is not balanced, oxygen also not balanced in the reactant and the product. So you should balance it. So 12H2O and then 6O2, 6H2O. So like this you have to balance this, but don't by heart it. You know how to balance the chemical equation alva. So ನಿಮಗೆ balance ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, I hope. So you have to balance that using the formula. You know that that you studied in the first chapter, how to balance the chemical reaction. Sunlight, here you should write chlorophyll also, that is also important. Chlorophyll. Okay, so this is the balanced chemical equation of the photosynthesis. Next question. Write the products of anaerobic respiration takes place in the yeast. So you can take it as anaerobic respiration that takes place in the yeast. So here the anaerobic respiration, so ethanol is produced, carbon dioxide and energy is produced. So in case of the anaerobic respiration in yeast, so it produces ethanol, so that is alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. Next question. What is the function of stomata? So stomata, you know that, so that helps for the exchange of the gases, right, during the photosynthesis as well as during the respiration. So these are the guard cells. So the diagram also very important. Closed stomata and open stomata, that diagram is also very important. Okay, so this is the rough diagram, how it looks, stomata here. So this is the stomatal pore and these are the guard cells and this is the chlorophyll. So like that you have to mention the parts in the drawing, okay, in your. Next, what is the function of the stomata? Here, what is the function of the stomata here? For 1 mark question, stomata that helps for the plant's exchange of the gases with the environment, including taking in carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen. So stomata that helps for the exchange of the gases. So during the respiration, taking in the oxygen, giving out the carbon dioxide. During the photosynthesis, it takes the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen. And it also help in plants in monitor how much water is moving through the transpiration. So stomata that also helps in the removal of the excess water through the transpiration process. It also helps in the removal of the excess of water during the through the transpiration. It can be asked as a 2-mark question also. Give an example for parasitic plants. You know that commonly the plants are, they are autotrophs. You know that all the plants are autotrophs. But here parasitic plants, parasitic means they absorb the nutrients from the other organisms, right? So here there is an exception. So the plant named Cuscuta, the plant named Cuscuta, Cuscuta. So that is example for the parasitic plant. Okay. So example for parasitic plant, that is Cuscuta. Next question. What is the function of salivary amylase enzyme? Salivary amylase, which is present in the saliva. Saliva is secreted by the salivary glands. And what is the function of the salivary amylase here? Salivary amylase, which convert the carbohydrates into sugar, which convert the carbohydrates into sugar. So that is the correct answer. This is also 1-mark question. Next question. Herbivores have long small intestine compared to the carnivores. Give reason. Herbivores means the organisms which depend on the plants and plant product. So they are having the long small intestine compared to the carnivores, means they depend on the herbivores, means the organisms like rabbit, deer. So they are the herbivores. The carnivores like lion, tiger, they depend on these herbivores. So they are known as carnivores. What is the reason? Herbivores have longer small intestine than the carnivores because they eat plant-based food that are high in cellulose, which takes long time to digest. The plants, they contain the cellulose. This cellulose, that is the complex nutrient that that need more time to digest, that so which takes long intestine for the digestion, or it will take more time to digest in the herbivores. It can be asked as a 2-mark question also, 1-mark question also. Next question. What is the function of HCl in our stomach? You know that from the gastric glands, HCl, then pepsin, then mucus is released in the stomach. And here they ask, what is the function of the HCl in our stomach? What is the function of the HCl? Here, this HCl which create the acidic medium, which create the acidic medium, acidic medium for the functioning of enzyme pepsin. So this pepsin, it will perform its function only where there is an acidic medium. In case of a basic medium, it will not perform its work. So it will not convert the protein. It will not digest the protein. So to create the acidic medium, uh, which influence the function of the pepsin, so the HCl is used. Okay. Or you have to know the function of the mucus and HCl and pepsin, all three. Next question. What is translocation? What is translocation? This is the 1-mark question. You have to write the definition. The process of transportation of soluble products of photosynthesis is called translocation. The process of transportation of soluble products of the photosynthesis, the products which are formed in the photosynthesis process, that we have to transport from one place to the another place of the plant body. So that is called as a translocation. Okay, so this definition is very important. Next question. Yes, so here, what is the function of the mucus which is produced in the stomach? Here the mucus, so just imagine this is the stomach. Here the mucus which protects the walls of the stomach from the acid. So HCl is the strong acid. You know that this hydrochloric acid is the strong acid which may damage the walls of the stomach. Which may damage the walls of the stomach. So the mucus protect the walls of the stomach, walls of the stomach from the HCl, from the HCl. Mucus protect the walls of the stomach from the HCl. Okay, so that is the function of the mucus. This HCl may cause the damage to the walls of the stomach. Next question. How does small intestine designed to absorb the nutrients? How does small intestine is designed? Here, in the small intestine, complete digestion process where the complex molecules of carbohydrates, proteins and fats, they will convert into a simple molecules, as well as absorption also takes place. So the small intestine, so that contain the finger like projections, they are called as villi. So it contain the villi, the finger like projections, the finger like projections, finger like projections. Villi, small intestine contain the finger like projections called villi. They help in the they helps in they increase the area of absorption. They increase the area of absorption. Just imagine, so these are the villi. So if it is like this, a finger like, because the area of absorption will be increased. Okay, so this villi, they increase the area of absorption. Next question. How carbon dioxide and oxygen is transported in our body? How it is moved, transported in our body? Carbon dioxide, so it is transported by the plasma. Carbon dioxide, that is transported by the plasma, and RBC transports the oxygen. So here RBC, which is having the specialized hemoglobin pigment, which is having the affinity towards the oxygen. So this RBC which transport the oxygen in our body, and plasma that transport the carbon dioxide. Next question. What are the products of anaerobic respiration that takes place in muscle cell? In the muscle cell. In muscle cell, what mainly lactic acid is produced. Lactic acid and energy. Lactic acid and energy is produced in the anaerobic respiration that takes place in the muscle cell. Okay. Yes, dear students, we have discussed some multiple choice questions as well as some 1 mark questions. In the next class, we are discussing some very important questions from this chapter, that may be 3 mark, 4 mark questions. Okay, so I hope this session will be useful for you people to face the board exam. It will be like a revision class for you people. Okay, thank you. We'll meet in the next session.